Hello guys! Good afternoon here in Europe. Good evening in the Philippines. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. And as I promised before that I will not be boxing myself in one content. So today I decided to have a different content, which this can be a little bit heavy. Okay, so what is toxic? I can hear it often. Toxic relationship. If you are in a toxic relationship, you're toxic to someone, you are toxic to me, I have to leave you, I have to let you go because you are being toxic to me. So what is toxic anyway? So I have read some definition in, it was Merriam-Webster, that I have some insight about toxic meaning. So according to what I read in toxic, it says toxic is containing or being poisonous material, especially when capable of causing death or serious debilitation. So you guys can understand what it is. If you can't, just Google it, okay? And the next one that I think it is very appropriate, it is toxic behavior, or toxic is extremely harsh, malicious, or harmful. And so toxic can be in a form of resentment. What is resentment? Ito yung I'll be mixing my vlog to English, and I will be using Tagalog as well. Because as I said before that I have some viewers that is English and Filipino, and some of them are Japanese, and yeah, so resentment, ito yung galit sa isang, ito yung galit in general, ito yung galit. But before I go ahead to that, I will have to put a disclaimer on this video that I am not a professional, I am not a doctor, nor a psychologist. Okay, this is based on my observation only in some readings that I did. So let's go ahead and continue. Resentment. Ito yung galit or galit mo na no matter how long it passed, kahit matagal na or isang buwan na, kapag naaalala mo yung isang bagay na ikinagagalit mo sa kanya, ay nagpo-fuel pa rin yung galit mo. This is, resentment is like, no matter how long the time had passed, as soon as you remember that thing that made you upset or hate that person, it always comes back and you could never forgive that person. Ito yung resentment. Galit ka pa rin sa kanya, or kahit na nung isang linggo na ang nakaraan, galit ka pa rin sa kanya. This is a form of toxic. Toxic na sabi nga, harmful. It's very harmful when it comes to relationship. The second one that I read is disrespectful or disrespecting. Let's go ahead and talk about disrespectful in the inside of relationship. Disrespecting your husband, disrespecting your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever, partner in life, whatever. What is disrespecting anyway? Well, it comes in the form of many things. For example, you're disrespecting him or her by using his cell phone, or by opening his mail, or yes, by opening his mail without his consent. It is a form of disrespectful. Or he's talking to you, or you are talking to him, but it's like he's not listening to you. You're still talking, but he puts another subject in front of your conversation, and he's disregarding, or she is disregarding what you want to say, because what matters most is what he wants to say and what he wants to do. That is very disrespectful, and it comes to being toxic as well. The next one is always being negative, or always negative. Like you you put out some conversation, and then, or you try to say something nice and that would benefit both of you, but then he or she is there to contradict it, to give you already the negative part of what you're saying, doesn't even acknowledge or doesn't even think about it, but already give his or her opinion that this will not work, this will not work, doesn't that, and that is not possible. That is like very negative person, or he sees something in you that's not worth listening to or conversing. Negative is the opposite of being positive. Like, you can't do anything about it unless that person tries to get some help. This one here is jealousy. Jealousy is deadly. You know, it is deadly in a relationship. It's deadly when it comes to friendship. And this is the most hard and harsh one, included of being a toxic one. Why? Because jealousy can form in so many ways. You're jealous with your friend because he or she is doing very well in her life. She has a good job, she has a good career, she is prettier than you, more handsome, more good looking than you, and you try to destroy that person. Or in terms of relationship, if it's your girlfriend or your husband or your wife, jealousy can be very, very dangerous, because you will be coming very aggressive there. Like, you would be talking and asking every time somebody comes to you, to that person you presume to love. Every time somebody comes near her or near him, you would be asking questions. What is she doing? What are you thinking about? Whom did you send your message to? Reading your message and opening your mail that doesn't belongs to you, or opening the mail of your partner, of your girlfriend, or your friend that doesn't belong to you, or wishing that this person will be in a different position rather than being successful, and because you're jealous, you want to put down that person. And in most cases, if this is relationship, it ends up in domestic violence. You know why? I think women and men already understood that, because the rage of a man is different. Now, this is not only applies to men, because violence or domestic violence can also done by women themselves. And sometimes when men complains that they are being violated or being abused by the women, some doesn't believe it, and that's difficult and sad to hear about, because of the reason that I mentioned before. The next one is being controlling. Being a control freak or being controlling is also deadly, and being controlled can be a toxic. Why? Well, if you control someone, it's like everything she does or he does, it belongs to you. Like, you feel, as a controlling person, you feel like you own that person, and he or she has no rights to decide for herself, to do what she wants, or even like she has no control over her life. It all belongs to you, whatever she does, or whom she talks about, whom she talks to, what it is what clothing she can wear, or whom she can be friends with. It goes with the men as well. Girlfriend has to choose whether you can be friends with this girl or not. And yes, that is most of the time controlling, or what time you can just leave the house, what job you can do, or you don't need to do a job, or you don't work, you stay home because of what? Because he is jealous, because he's controlling, and because he's always negative and disrespecting you. See, they all connect together if you think about it. That is, now if you are in a relationship that is already like that, you don't think twice. You don't say that, well, maybe the only signs that has shown here is like he is jealous. I think of all the behavior that was mentioned here, the most toxic, and I mean the most toxic and hard to deal with here is being a controlling. And they, all of those behavior, they fit together. Controlling is the most toxic one, and the next one I think is cheating. Controlling, it is when you decide for someone. I think I have mentioned it already. When you decide that you will control this person, you will control his being, what she will do, what's good for her, what will make her happy, or if it's in romantic relationship, you will decide for that person to be under your thumb. Decide whom she will be friends, whom have she will have acquaintance with, what clothes she has to wear, because you think if she wears something something that will attract people, you think she will leave you, because toxic person has the ability to think negative all the time. So you see, all of those things, they quite fit together, because that is the behavior of a toxic person. Cheating is also one of the toxic and very painful to deal with. As it is mentioned that a toxic behavior doesn't even acknowledge you when you try to have conversation. Your emotion has no meaning to them. Even if they don't say it, it tells how they behave in front of you. They dismiss anything that you want to say. They don't want you to ask for any explanation. Why did you cheat on me? Why? And I have never been cheated. But thinking about it makes me think it could be really painful. Toxic exists in the form of your relationship, whether it is romantically, friendship, colleagues, your family, and friends. It exists there. When do you have to leave the toxic relationship? Whether if it's your parents, whether if it's your family, or husband, or girlfriend, or your wife, when do you have to leave them? You can leave them no matter how much effort you put in that relationship. When that person is not willing to cooperate already, not willing to do their part, because they don't want to listen to you, they don't want to get some help, and you are no longer valued, I think that's the time for you to leave that relationship. Why you still have some respect to yourself and respect for that person you presume or you propose to love. Because otherwise, if you don't, you yourself can be a toxic to other people as well, because you will absorb it later on. Now, why some women stays in the relationship no matter how toxic and abusive it is, there are some reasons why they do. This is mostly for women, and maybe for men if this applies. Well, it's lack of self-worth. They blame themselves why their partner or their husband, your boyfriend hurts you, abuse you mentally and physically. Most of these women, they think that they deserve it. They think that, I was warned that he will do this to me. He will do this when if I do that. So I think I deserve it. Yes, that is lack of self-worth. You blame yourself for this person why he behaved that way towards you. And do you really deserve it? The next one is the fear. We as a Filipinos in my country, tayo yung kahit na nasasaktan tayo or sinasaktan na yung mga women, they tend to accept it even if they are even if it's being domestic violence. They don't think that that is already a domestic violence. You know why? Because they said that we are a family oriented people. We are very tight when it comes to our family. So yung kung nasasaktan na tayo at hindi natin maiwan-iwan yung ating asawa or girlfriend or family, kasi we have to save face. Kailangan nating isalba ang kahihiyan na bakit siya iniwan o bakit niya iniwan ang asawa niya. Hindi na siya makakakita pa ng ibang makakasama sa buhay niya kasi hindi niya pinagtiisan yung kanyang karelasyon. Tama ba yun? I don't think it's right to do that. Na magstay ka sa isang relationship kahit na it is very toxic. Kahit na yung tao na yun ay lying or nagsisinungaling na siya sa'yo, you are being cheated on, kailangan mong magstay. Kasi nga, sabi nila kapag iniwan mo siya o iniwan mo yung asawa mo na yun, mawawalan tayo ng magmamahal na sa atin. Kasi we can't stay in a relationship. Well, some women I admire na kapag nasasaktan sila at alam nila yung worth nila, kung saan at kailan dapat mag-end ang isang relationship. And I admire them because wala namang gustong mag-end ng isang relasyon, di ba? No matter if it's family or romantic relationship, nobody wants to break a relationship. Pero kung nagkakasakitan na kayo, there is no point of saving it. Save yourself heartbreak or a physical hurt. And the next one is financial constraints. I think this one applies to men and women. You know why? If you are capable financially, you can do anything. You can leave immediately. You can ask for help because money talks. But did you notice that all of these things that I mentioned, they all fit together? This the abuse, the self-worth, and lack of the fear and financial constraint. Now, why? No, financially, that's why the women is advised to have their own money. Hindi siya dapat nakaasa hindi siya dapat umaasa sa income lang ng kanyang partner, especially kung partner mo pa lang 'yan. Or ng kanyang asawa. Kailangan niyang magkaroon ng pera para sa kanyang sarili. Kailangan niyang mag-save. Kung ang isang relasyon ay umaandap-andap na lang, meron kang savings para sa sarili mo. Meron kang magagamit. The reason naman kaya minsan hindi nakakapagtrabaho ang isang babae, ang isang wife or ang isang wife. Ilagay na lang natin na siya isang wife. Reason why? Kasi ang kanyang husband, ang kanyang partner ay very controlling. He thinks very negative that he thinks when the woman goes out and look for work and started working, he thinks because he is he is toxic, he thinks that he will be replaced immediately. Kaya ayaw niya magtrabaho siya. Kasi feeling niya kapag nakapagtrabaho na yung babae ay hindi niya na ito makokontrol. Kaya hindi niya pinapayagan yon, which is dapat talagang kailangan ng isang babae ang meron siyang sariling trabaho. I will end it here, and that it will brings us to isolation. Ina-isolate ng isang abuser ang kanyang victim. Ina-isolate niya yung babae, or I think this applies to men as well. Kailangan siyang i-isolate para he can't ask for help. He can't talk to his friends. They need to live far from their parents para walang makasaway sa kanya. Nobody can say no to him or to her. Whatever decision for the family he thinks he's doing, no one can say no to him. He can control and manipulate the person he professes to love. And that's why he wants to isolate him or her. So thank you guys for watching. I hope some of you learned something from here. Have a nice weekend.